welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the last broadcast of the GGNA Limited Tournament, brought to you, of course, by
And ready
ExpressVPN,
the schedule?
sponsors for this tournament. Incredible VPN. Check them out if you have not. I am Kylin, and I am here with Shy Guy, Kylin Academy, and Azure Eagles Academy. Both academies. Which one's gonna school the other?
It's that's what we're here to find out. I mean, this is going to be really exciting as we step, of course, into that intermediate division. We get a rematch of the upper bracket finals this time around. It's going to be a really fascinating series. I have to say, the last time these two teams met, Kylin did get the better of Azure Eagles. It was a 3-0 victory for them in that upper bracket finals, but now Azure are back and they're ready for round two. We'll see if they can reverse their fortunes, but they definitely have a tall task ahead of them. Like this is not going to be easy by any means. Kylin, for the most part, has had their way with most of their opposition up to this point in the tournament. It's going to take something big to knock them off their perch.
That they have. I mean, Kylin Academy themselves, they won 3-0 against Azure Eagles Academy in the winners finals just a few days ago. And I mean, that's got to be demoralizing for a team to lose 3-0. They're going to have to make some big changes coming in. And honestly, I do think that they can do it. And I think that these two teams are going to have an amazing match. And I think it'll go the distance.
I mean, I would sure love to see that. We'd love to see Azure make a little bit better of a fight of it this time around. Especially, like, I want to point out that this is a team that, like, it has really impressed me in terms of the way that they have, like, improved over time. Because going back to last year and like towards the tail end of 2020, they were in the rookie division of GitGud, and they absolutely kind of wiped the floor with the rookie division. This year they have moved on up into the intermediate division, and they're still one of the top teams that we have here in GitGud. Like, this is what it is all about, is like coming together as a team and developing over the course of time. That is the idea behind Get Good in a lot of ways, is for players to have an environment where they can compete against players of their same like skill level, and then elevating their play over time. That's exactly what Azure Eagles Academy have done, and like it's really exciting to see them now get a shot to kind of continue to step it up against a very talented opponent.
Absolutely. The tournament's called Get Good, and Azure, they followed that director to the letter. They've got good, but will it be good enough to get into our first map? And let's just take a look at the rosters here for both these teams. I mean, just looking at these two teams, they're going to have some incredibly impressive people on it. I mean, just looking at Azure Eagles, they only have their 6 players, whereas Kylin Academy have 9. Kylin Academy has a bit more flexibility, so you have a bit more on the bench for Kylin Academy, so they have that ability to swap out a lot of Sombra players that they can switch to. But as their Eagles Academy, they got the one squad and they're sticking to it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean that tends to be the way that we see most teams operate. At least like at the kind of amateur level, is to like have your 6, know who you are going to operate with, and like develop that synergy over the course of the time. That's not to say that like you can't succeed with these larger rosters. Like Kylin Academy is kind of proof of that. At least so far in this Get Good limited season, but it definitely can give you some different options. It can make your team more flexible than they might otherwise be, and I think that definitely holds true for Kylin, because this is a team that is, from what little I have been able to watch of their matches previously, like they have a lot of flexibility within the team. They're not one of these squads that's going to come into a match and exactly what they will be running. You're not going to be able to predict everything that they're going to throw at you. Like they are equally comfortable going with kind of the standard composition of the time, which is that rush variant, and they look equally at home on the dive as well. So this is definitely something that I'm looking out for to see if they can put that bigger roster to the test. We'll start out here on Lijiang Tower for map number 1. This will be a really fascinating place to kick off the series, because we say this time and time again. We say it a lot because Lijiang comes up a lot. It's the first map in like the vast majority of the series we wind up playing, and it's a map where you can really show your stuff in terms of what you are really comfortable with as a team. And in that vein, Kylin Academy rolling out with the dive variant here. They've got the Winston and the Diva. Quitty on the Pharah is going to be a big power player here. We'll see what they can get done, but going to be kind of matched with a similar style. Jevs on the wrecking ball on the other side is definitely one to watch for.
Definitely. I mean, these two teams, you need to look at the Zenyatas, in my opinion, because the two Zenyatas are very immobile. While I say that, you have immediately the Tracer 1v1 being just lost right away by Azure Academy. And oh no, Medrod gets pooped off the side of the map. Jevs gets that early pick, and now all of a sudden it's this aggression coming in. Both Zenyatas will fall, but Azure Eagles, they have this aggression coming in, and they're able to get the resurrection, whereas Kylin Academy will not, and they will lose the first point. Azure will take it. Fallen will fallen off.
Oh my gosh, that's now 2 straight fights in a row where environmental kills or environmental deaths have just kind of cost Kylin Academy their tanks in these fights. They've got to be aware of that going forward, but time for the re-engage here. They jump in behind net drop, but he's still dead.
Iowa 7, you don't usually see that, but the Zen's gonna take it down. The Winston diving in on the Diva from Death by Cheeto. Very funny name, but won't find anything, but just the damage that will come out from that Diva will get them some kills. And even though Kylin Academy gets that last kill, they're still going to have to retreat here.
Yeah, certainly it might give them a slight window to make something happen, but they lost Fallen pretty late in that fight as well, so it's not like they really have the numbers right now, and especially not when Medrod just keeps going down first.
Absolutely. Medrod's going in aggressive, but his team's just not there to stack up with him. And oh no, the pulse bomb! Right through it out the pulse bomb, but Fallen says, oh, I've been looking for dinner, and eats it right up. The dive's gonna come back in. Medrod on this dive here comes for self-destructive Skysaber. It'll get Shinhan, and already a very scary look as Medrod will fall as well, and just not good. Medrod's gonna go down. That tank is so important. The Mercy as well is going to fall, and Kylin Academy, they're just not doing well. Krishna is gonna fall in his last fight territory for Kylin. They need to rush onto the point.
Certainly, I mean, this is now a desperation moment here, but luckily for them, they won't be met with any ultimates on the other side, as Azure did kind of blow their load going into the last fight, trying to secure the win. So this is the opportunity with the Primal Rage to make something happen.
They have all the ultimates they could want. They have the barrage. They have the barrage. They're going to come out. The barrage and the Primal Rage both going to get a kill. The Diva Bomb! Fallen will just steal this fight. And we'll say we're not done with this round yet, but they have a mountain ahead of them, and it's 100% that they need to win. Kylin, they've got a chance.
Certainly, and this comp is going to be better at playing from a position of power where they've got control of the point. The dives are much easier to set up. Quitty can obviously get an incredible amount of poke in. Just going in very deep, trying to get right on top of the aisle wide, but just so much heal coming out from the zero.
Oh no! Oh no, Jeb! Pile drives off the side of the map. Very unfortunate. But it's Kylin Academy's aggression that has made them such a dominant team as they dive in. Medra's actually going to go down to the Diva. As that could be a bad sign of things to come. Here comes Skysaber's Diva Bomb. It'll find the Mercy. There's no resurrection for Kylin Academy. This life is all they've got, and it might not be for long. We already going to have gonna have the orb on and going to actually get knocked off IOI 7, and the pulse bomb will find Despacito. The barrage going to come out. Won't get any kills, but Kylin Academy, they're going to hold. Shinhen going to fall, and it's going to be close, and Azure, they need to get out or attack, and they're not really doing either.
Certainly, it does look like they've been able to mostly back up, but you know they're split for the time being. Some of these players are caught in this white room area. So if we go down before the trans can reach her, that's pretty rough.
Rough it is. The Diva Bomb is going to come out. It won't find anything, but already Azure Eagles now the shoes on the other foot. There's just not a lot they can do. I mean, Medras will go down, but ILY 7 going to follow. Here comes the Diva Bomb. Is he going to get anything? Shakio going to fall early, but so Shinhen will find a pick, and there goes Killer Queen on this Mercy. Overtime ticking away. The minefield does come out from Gems. Here comes the pulse from Fallen, going to go down, but two crucial picks might come in, but there's just not enough stall. There's one person left, but when that Diva goes down, it's the Tracer's time to shine. The Echo going to try and come in as well. They nearly actually get off the point there. It is just the Tracer and this Echo Despacito needs to be massive, but Jebs gets a double deal, and he's still not done. Still going. Going to fall down on this Lucio. Christian going to use the Transcendence, but it might be too little too late, as Fallen will fall as well. And now the stall is on the other foot, and now it's just what a round. What a round.
I thought Kylin had done just enough there at the tail end of this point to be able to pull things back. You know, slow start for them, but they started to get into their groove as things went on. Once they got control of the point, they were really in solid position, making big plays time and time again, and they very nearly had it, but Fried Rice buys just enough time on the Tracer for everybody to get back into the fight and flip that one on its head. Really well done. But now things will change pretty much completely here as we go over to Control Center. Azure completely like audibling off of that comp. They're going towards the rush for this very enclosed point. Kylin not changing too much here. It's Quiddy on the Sombra now as Shingen picks up the Pharah, but still a very similar composition for them despite the different map geometry.
Christian's gonna fall early. Shinhen on this Pharah is probably gonna be able to take this fight against Despacito on the Junkrat very well, but this rush composition will absolutely smash into Kylin Academy, and that's what it did. Kylin will lose his first point. We're starting to tick up already.
Yeah, I gotta question the comp choice here for Kylin, because you're just gonna get run on. Like, you don't have a speed boost. You cannot disengage when the Reinhardt just wants to run into you and swing his hammer.
And here he comes already. There's just so much power behind that Reinhardt. It's what the entire composition is about. So between the backup is actually going to come in, but it won't be for long.
We're 5%. Like it doesn't mean much at all. Like, ultimately, when you're losing every team fight because you simply you do not have the damage to cut through the Rhine.
Oh, the Shatter is gonna take down 4. Not many good shields here to block that Shatter. It's hard to block a Shatter with a Winston bubble.
What are you supposed to do? Like, they're just getting out comped here. It's not even like particularly anything wrong that the individuals of Kylin are doing. You don't have counterplay in these moments until your ults get online. You really don't have anything that you can do, and it's gonna be too late by then.
That it is. Here comes the high noon from Taquito, going to get Medrod on the Primal Rage as well. That's a lot of HP to go down. The Barrage will find Jev, but it'll be the only pick they'll find throughout this round, pretty much the entire time. Taquito going to go down pretty late as well, and a dominant showing so far from Azure Eagle.
Yeah, I mean, they are executing everything as well as you could pretty much ask them for. It's going incredibly well at the moment, as they even swap Fried Rice over onto the Symmetra. They get rid of the easily countered Junkrat and are now just playing this comp to perfection. They force out the trans really early. There's Ian.
We get 3. But just all the ults there. There's the beat, there's the immortality field, and City and Medra and Fallen just go down like dominoes as the capture will come in from Kylin, but like you said, 5%, 7%. It's just 5%, 7%, 9%. It's just paltry in the face of what Azure Eagles Academy have done, and they will take our first map. Definitely different from the story we had coming in.
Yeah, I feel bad harping on this too much, but there's no other way that could have gone, especially on Control Center. I mean, Gardens was incredibly close, and if that goes the other way, maybe Kylin can continue running this Pharah comp on Night Market and find success there. But on Control Center, they're just bashing their head against a wall trying to make a comp work that simply doesn't have enough win conditions in any of these fights. The only way they could realistically win a fight was a big EMP, and even when that comes through, the execution is still not quite good enough to actually secure the fight win. So they just get rolled over, and it's strange to me because in the past, Kylin, they've played Rush. This is not something that should be foreign to them at all. Maybe they're feeling just extra confident after getting the 3-0 in the upper bracket finals and think they can get away with whatever they want. But it's not going to work when it simply doesn't fit the map that you're playing. It's obviously really early in this series, and there's plenty of time for Kylin to change things up or even just find maps that work better for the comps that they want to run. But that felt just like losing a map due to stubbornness in part.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that we talk about that Khan Academy have been dominant, but I would like to point out that they on last weekend, Friday, they faced off against Kismet, the 8th seed, and they took them to 6 maps. It was a 6-map series. So I don't think that Kylin Academy can afford to say, oh, we're immortal, we can just do whatever we want. They are not immortal, and if that match didn't prove anything, then that round did. The Kylin Academy can be beaten, and I think what Control Center proved is that not only can they be beaten, but they can be beaten handily. As Azure Eagles took that fight very, very well.
Certainly, and now it's time to see what the response is going to be from Kylin, because with the team that has been as good as they have throughout the tournament, we certainly don't expect them to kind of come out, take one punch, and then roll over from there. We expect a certain amount of response coming out from this team, and they've chosen to take us to Rialto for map 2, which has been, again, by far the most common map, at least that I have seen in all of my GitGud games so far in this tournament. Teams love to go to this, and I can understand it from a certain perspective, but I don't think this is going to force Azure Eagles out of their comfort zone really at all. We saw them performing really well on both the Wrecking Ball comp and the Rush there on Control Center, and the Rush can continue to be played here. But for Kylin, this does at least open up the possibility to give them a great battleground to play around the Pharah, which is something that they clearly want to do. Like they forced it on both maps of Lijiang. And if you're playing it on Control Center, there's no reason for me to think that you won't play it on a map that really favors it, like Rialto potentially. So I definitely expect that to be part of the answer here for Kylin, but we'll have to see how they execute that comp in terms of what they can do to counter whatever Azure decide to throw at them.
Yeah, the Pharah is definitely it's a good pick on Rialto. Not many enclosed spaces, but I think it's also a good spot for snipers, for the hit scans. It's a good spot for the anti-Pharah compositions, for heroes like Soldier, for heroes like Ashe, for heroes like Widowmaker. These long sight lines that these characters can also take advantage of. Not having many enclosed spaces also means you don't have a lot of cover, and I think Azure Eagles might try and pull that out. We'll have to see.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Yeah, I mean they come out here with a comp that definitely is very classic Rialto, and that's this double shield look with the Orisa and the Sigma. The Echo McCree is very very meta DPS duo at the moment in terms of the burst damage that both of them can provide, but also just consistency over the course of like longer fights. That they definitely have a lot of power in this comp and a lot of things that will be working for them. Despacito is gonna have to be kind of careful. They're going up into not actually the Pharah matchup on the other side like I kind of predicted, but rather the Echo answer out here from Shingen, who has the Mercy Pocket. That's the difference. Chakakato is going to be there tethered to the Echo pretty much full time, at least as much as possible.
That they are. Also, they're coming out on this dive. Double shield. It doesn't like playing up close. They like playing from afar and getting into these poke wars that we see a little bit now. But when the dive comes in, none of these heroes really have good methods of escape. The break is pretty good for the anti-dive, but that's only one hero versus potentially 4 coming in on the dive. There goes Killer Queen. But he will follow as well. And even trade here, but Medrop Jev both going to fall. Main tank going down. Shinhan does have the copy going to fall off the side, copying the Orisa. Maybe not exactly what they would have wanted, but they're still going to drop the Bongo, facing off against an amplification matrix. Going to do a lot of damage, but it will eventually go down. But this card's still moving, and Azure Eagles, they need to get moving.
They're split,
split so much.
The copied Zen is actually going to give them the trans that they might need to kind of re-engage this fight, but it's completely split up, and they've stood their ground up here on the high ground, and reinforcements come back in time for Azure Eagles to win that one out. Things got dangerous there for a second. Like, if those members up on the high ground can ever get focused down, I think they'll still be fine here. Like, they lose one late, and that'll give a chance for Kylin to kind of re-engage, but they will be able to back off here, I think, pretty effectively.
That they will, but the question is, how much are they going to have to back up? Because one thing we know Kylin Academy for, it's their aggression, and here it comes in all its glory. But Despacito is actually able to get a DMEC and a kill with that focus beam. And Azure Eagles, they're going to be able to keep this going. The Mercy, they're trying to just keep away from the Azure Eagles, a little bit on the flank, but they're going to hold.
Oh, indeed, that's really big to be able to stop here before the checkpoint. Now they get to hold back kind of behind this archway, and it's really tough for the dive to engage on top of them.
That it is. Here comes the Wrecking Ball, going to get absolutely demolished once it comes in through that window. Just trying to get the minefield. Here comes the High Noon from Fried Rice, going to take down Medrod and the copy. And oh, the Devo Bomb as well. A lot of ults coming out. Despacito here on the copied Primal Raging Winston, but Kylin Academy will just barely, with a few people left, be able to get this point through to point A once they clear out the staggers, and they will. They'll get some more time. Oh, and
that was really crucial. That was really crucial. Like they're able to secure the fight win there, and now they get to continue pushing forward. They'll get some very late staggers potentially on after the fight concludes, and they forced a swap from Azure Eagles in terms of composition. Going into the second checkpoint, it's harder to stand your ground with the double shield, so we will be seeing the Reinhardt comp coming back in here for the defense.
That we will, but Fried Rice is going to go down early, so will Krishna. This cart's still moving, though. The Azure Eagles might want to try and get back. Krishna is actually going to be revived, and Kylin Academy, they're looking good. And this cart rounding the corner, they need to get back up to that staircase, otherwise they're going to lose their best place to hold, as now
they seem a bit lost on how to rotate here.
Where's it going? They're a little lost, and they need to get to this cart, the High Noon from Kylin Academy. It's catching them off here. I don't get really what's happening, because it seems like the sides have completely flipped. Killer Queen is actually going to get fallen, but now Sky Saber going to be going down low, getting some heals, but it might not be enough. Bedrock will go down, and now just Azure Eagles with a pretty bizarre rotation will hold on. IOI7 will get that late stagger pick as well.
Yeah, I mean, you could see what they were like kind of trying to go for. They wanted to focus down Krishna, isolate that Zen, and like just rush him down. And they did that to an extent. Like they made Krishna like fall off the map of his own accord a little bit there. And like yeah, so I mean, mission accomplished, I guess, but definitely very strange.
There it is. Here comes the copy onto the Reinhardt. Oh, the pin is actually going to come in, and no way, Sky Saber actually just throws Shinhen off the map. Gonna go down with them, but that's a good play from the Azure Eagles and from Sky Saber.
Absolutely, this is really, really big now as they look to get this full hold. None of these ults going to be available really for Kylin. I mean, Quiddy is the closest one to that Deadeye, and that's going to make this final fight very, very difficult.
Oh, the beat comes in, but it's not enough for Jebs as Quiddy's going to take down them. But the Shatter is going to come in. It'll find 3 on the ground. Fallen will get D-Macked. Medrod will get taken down by the hammer. Swinging Reinhardt. He's swinging for the fences, and I'll be darned if he didn't hit a home run. But the game's not over yet, as IOI7 will get to Krishna, but picks are coming in for Kylin Academy on this attack. They're going to dive in on the Jebs on the wrecking ball.
When he survives, and they get the res.
He survived.
Krishna is back in the fight too. Like she's going to be able to contribute. They've got a full 66, and this
and
hey.
And here's the copy from Shinhen on the Reinhardt. Gonna get that Shatter really quickly. Gonna throw it out. Not gonna find anything from it. Medrock going to try and get something, anything from this Primal Raid. They're finally getting into these ultimates, but Despacito with the Dragon Strike taking them down. Going to get another kill on a Medrot, just trying to help his defense out, and it's gonna be close.
Wait, how did Fallen get back in the mech? How did that happen? I mean, it doesn't end up mattering at all, but like somehow after the res gets that one off, doesn't really matter. They make their stand. They put up a solid defense, and like this is where things like start to get a little. You feel the collar kind of tightening here. Everybody pulling at it on Kylin Academy. They're probably feeling a little bit nervous, maybe for the first time. All season long, they are definitely feeling the heat at this point, because that is not the push that you are kind of ideally looking for here on Rialto.
That you aren't, but I do think that this is definitely winnable for them. Point B on Rialto is brutal to attack on. I mean, you have so much. Oh, they're running the dive now. But as I was saying, point B on Rialto, there's so many good places to hold. There's that staircase. There's the elevated point above the bridge. Depending on where you can hold on Rialto, you can absolutely shut down a push for 2, 3, 4 minutes. As long as you need, if you can rotate your ultimates well enough, you have this positional advantage. Probably one of, if not the best in the game.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the problem though for Kylin is like, I actually don't like any of their ultimates for the most part. Like, they don't have like the easy to execute big combos that you anticipate from most like meta compositions, and definitely not from this like rush variant that we're seeing out of Azure Eagles. Like, it's so easy to execute the grab and the dragons, or an earth shatter, or like speed boost and the sound barrier. There's a lot of ways to start a fight.
Oh no, Killer Queen's gonna go down, Sky Saber's gonna fall, Despacito as well. Fried Rice is gonna pick onto Shinhen, but it won't be enough. As there you go, ILY7, goodbye, says Medrod.
And the res, they get the res off in the back.
The res! How do they get this res off? Somehow, Shinhen will hold.
Yeah, this is really big for Kylin to be able to hang on here. This is you know, what they need is to snowball. Like, they cannot really afford to be losing a lot of these neutral fights. Just, you know, that's really nice. Killer Queen a little bit out of position there, gets punished very well by Xingyan, who now is trying to keep hold of these guys, but a nice rotation from Azure, taking the high ground away from the defenders.
That it is, the anti-nade is going to get Sky Saber, but there's no one really there to follow up on it. The Diva will boop off the side, taking back this high ground. Here comes the grab, here comes the window. Not ready for Despacito, doesn't have that ultimate, but it'll get some damage in, but the shatter from Shinhen will wipe Azure off the face of the earth. They'll spin around. Don't, you're making me dizzy, but probably so are Azure Academies, because they just got taken for a ride.
Absolutely, and they committed a lot of ults to that fight. Like, that was really expensive. Like, Sky Saber is going to be the only one who really has any kind of progress on his ultimate for the time being. Mitra trying to jump into the thick of things with this Primal Rage. Let's see what he can find.
But there might just be too much damage already on the 240 HP before he goes down. Shinhen's gonna be taken down by the Reinhardt, the swinging Reinhardt from Sky Saber, already on this high ground. Winston's gonna jump in, but there's just so much damage that Sky Saber can put out. Reinhardt is really able to do that. People underestimate how much damage a Reinhardt can do. The Diva Bomb going to get thrown in behind, won't find anything, but Killer Queen will invest this beat that they got, and a lot. Pretty fast charge. Here comes Fried Rice with the Deadeye. It'll get to the baby Diva and the Ana, that main support, but the Resurrection's going to come in. But while that was happening, there's just not enough. High Noon from Quiddy going to try and come in, going to fan that hammer at Killer Queen, but it won't be enough. ILY7 going to use this window to seal the deal, and there's some potential staggers that could come in, but I think Kylin Academy, I think they'll be fine to get away here, and they will.
Yeah, indeed. Too mobile to really be able to track down these tanks, especially, so Kylin get time to regroup on the high ground of their own. But Azure, again, they're getting very proactive with some of these rotations. They want to take the fights on their turf.
Killer Queen's gonna go down. Here's Despacito going to use the ultimate, not gonna get anything out of him, going to get some echo to the face, and a team kill from Kylin Academy. They have put a stop to this payload, and right on the bridge, that's a kill zone.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. You don't even let much progress whatsoever come out here for Azure, who, you know, maybe got a little bit ahead of himself, maybe should have been focusing on the cart a little bit harder than they were, but now it's just Kylin keeping up the pressure.
What's that? How did that happen? The High Noon from Fried Rice will find Quiddy with that. Sky Saber gonna get that charge in, going to eventually just gonna charge in all crazy, gonna find Shinhen, and the Primal Rage gonna come in, a lot of HP on Medrod, but he's not immortal. at ILY 7 will prove that. Magic gonna go down Despacito, wreaking havoc on this Reaper, and the cart is going to move, but this cart fight is far from won. This D.Va poking out, but Azure Eagles, they are gonna keep this cart moving.
Yeah, now we're into one fight territory. Kylin, for all their aggression on the defense, are now in a situation where it's do or die.
As they are, Sky Saber with 3 with the fire strike in the window. Oh my goodness, Sky Saber and Jez will pick up all the kills, and they're going to get to match point, to tournament point here.
I mean, completely like upending our expectations coming into this series based on the previous results. The only logical conclusion was that Kylin was the favorite here, but Azure have come to play. They are really, really performing well so far, and they are punishing Kylin in a way that very few teams have been able to do. They're focusing down these dive tanks and really making them pay for not necessarily having like the staying power that we see out of these beefier comps and the higher healing comps coming out from Azure right now. It's really impressive to see what they've been able to do so far, and now they've got the presumptive favorites reeling on the back foot just against the ropes at this point. We will be taking a break soon, and in this time, like Kylin, you got to do some soul searching. You got to find a way to fight this back, or you could just be swept right out of this grand final.
All right, and we're back with 2-0, and no, that scoreboard's not right. These names are organized correctly. You do see Azure Eagles Academy 2-0 against Kylin. 2-0. Remember, Azure Eagles Academy lost in the winners finals 3-0 against Kylin Academy. They got clean swept, and now they're on the verge of putting down the Uno reverse card and doing it right back to them in the grand finals of the ELO Hell GitGud Limited NA in our intermediate division. And Kylin, they've got a mountain to climb right now. They need 3 wins in a row to get back. Shy Guy, do you think they can do it?
It's hard to say. I mean, like, frankly, if I'm being totally honest, like, I think they need to change their style a little bit. They need to be less rigid, because so far all we have seen out of this team is dive, and they are playing the dive one way. They are like jumping on top of you, and they are taking the fight at every opportunity. It's the less they're not trying to isolate targets. They're not necessarily trying to find different approaches to these fights. They are just leaping on top of you and trying to duke it out, and it has had mixed results so far. As we do want to take a quick look at a quick stats comparison from the last map. Fried Rice and Quiddy, the two McCrees on either side. Very, very close battle between these two. Like the thing I kind of want to emphasize is like it's not that like any individual on the side of Kylin Academy I think is playing poorly so far. It's just that the comps that they're playing are getting a little bit kind of countered by what Azure Eagles have brought to the table and the way that they are focusing down the main tanks. Like we see the DPS on Kylin performing pretty well. Like Quiddy and Shingen as well. Like both of those players, I think were performing to a pretty admirable level, despite the O2 hole that they find themselves in. It's just that overall the team has not been able to find the success that they need.
Absolutely. I mean, you see Quiddy has so many more eliminations, so many more final blows than his counterpart, but still Azure Eagles, they're just winning. And I think, it shows that Overwatch is a team game, and, eventually there's just, even if you're an amazing carry, you can't do everything. But Azure Eagles, they've been so good as a team, and we'll see if they can keep it together for Eichenwald, our third and potentially final map.
And this is the one map that we have been able to go to so far where I do actually think that Kylin Academy will have the upper hand in a certain respect when it comes to their composition and the way that they want to play this out. The dive will have much more space to work with here on Eichenwald, and especially if they can get into that second section of the map, they'll really have a lot of value when you are fighting so heavily over like the high ground control and things of that nature. Azure, for their part, still largely sticking with what has gotten them to this lead. Despacito will be going over the Mei, which I think is a power pick that they haven't really shown us just yet, but definitely has a ton of value in these Reinhardt-based comps.
Absolutely, and now as we get through to this first point, these two teams are going to be clashing at each other, and we'll see if Azure can hold on this point. Fried Rice is already doing so much damage on the McCree, 45% to the ultimate, bigger than anyone in the server, already 60%. This is being absolutely insane. What's he doing?
He's just melting the tank. Like, look at him go. They're both down already. The D-Mech and the kill on a med drop.
He's just melting these tanks. He is cutting through them like a hot knife through butter, as he already has this Deadeye, which could be such a surprising. And off the back of that, he just wins the first fight.
Yeah, I mean, and this is like kind of what we saw in the stats comparison. Like, sure, Quiddy had more in terms of eliminations and final blows, but Fried Rice is just pumping out the damage right now. But gonna get dove on.
The Immortality Field's there to save him, but it won't save IOI7 or Killer Queen, and eventually Fried Rice himself will go down. It's not without sacrifices, but Shinhen will copy onto the Mei and going to try with some evasion. Despacito going to take out the time for this copy, but eventually it will run out. Despacito will go down, and Kylin Academy, here comes the bomb right onto the point, and all the ults coming out, 2 picks off of the back of it, but still, Killer Queen will go down, Medrod will go down, IOI7, they're committing, and they actually won the fight. What?
I mean, like, it was very strange. Like, for starters, like the big power play in that last fight was Krishna hitting the Bionade, set them up to take advantage. But unfortunately, Despacito just bought an insane amount of time on the Mei. Like, they just couldn't quite finish off that hero, and it bought time for the rest of the team to get back. Now Quiddy has this EMP, it needs to connect.
Here it comes. It'll get 3. The Blizzard will come out as well from Azure.
Nice.
They've lost their main support. Medrop's going to go down though. Jez taking that kill. Despacito is so low. Going to get dove on by the Genji, but he'll evade just long enough to take down the Genji diving. And here comes the Shatter as well. And Azure Eagles, they're just holding so strong. And it's getting almost into last fight territory for Kylin Academy. This is not good for them.
No, and now they've gone over to Shinhen on this Genji, which is like, it's a pick that so much of its power is going to come in the form of the blade, and in particular the potential nano blade combo. But Krishna is just a little bit further away. Like, she was on that pick from the very beginning and already used 1 nano. Now has to build up to a second while Shinhen is waiting to potentially get that buff. But they're running out of time.
Oh no! Fallen's immediately going to go down. Krishna as well. They're all going to fall eventually. They will have another fight. They'll have that chance. But Kylin Academy, they are at what could be their last attacking fight of the tournament.
And like, they're going into so many ults on the other side, and Krista's still not to the nano. They've got to make it happen now, but there's a blizzard waiting. There's a sound barrier to counter out any of that damage. This is going to be insanely difficult.
Here comes the blizzard. It's already got a few. The Ana's gonna get frozen. There they all go. They're all gone. There's just no one left to touch. 60.5%. And the round ending will mix with that team kill Siren as Kylin Academy, they will need a legendary defense to keep their hopes alive.
And how heartbreaking, how sad is it to see Kylin Academy going down there? The engage from Azure was beautiful, but Krishna just gets to the nano boost. Shinhan still had the blade unsheathed, waiting to go. Fallen was on 99% of a graviton surge. They were so close to so many of those ults that could have been the answer, that could have been the way they break through point A, but they just don't have time to let them loose. Azure take the initiative. They press their buttons before the other buttons press. Like it kind of, sometimes Overwatch is a really complicated game, and there's a ton of factors, working at any given moment. And sometimes you just press Q a bunch and you win the fight. And Azure, to their credit, they played around their win conditions. They played that defense beautifully, and now they are on the verge of going from the rookie division last year to winning the intermediate division this time around. Like, this is really, really impressive, and they just need about 2 ticks here on Eichenwald.
That they do. Already ILY going to go down low, but this Pharah from Quiddy going to be raining down death and destruction on the members of Azure. They're just speeding in. They're on the point already, starting that capture percentage. There's a lot to go down, though. ILY 7 is actually going to fall early, and that is not good, as now Kylin Academy, I almost said Shinhan Academy, are going to be able to just get all the damage, get all the ult charge that they want, as Shinhan on this Doomfist, and Quiddy on the Pharah already has ultimate when no one else on Azure is, everyone else on Azure is barely even 50%.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're looking for to Kylin. Like, the good news for them, like, they don't even allow the single tick. It was very close to coming through there for Azure, but Azure, you need to change your tact a little bit. You can't just run at the point. You're going to take too much damage on the way in. You saw how early the Immortality field had to come out from ILY 7, and it gets deleted almost instantly. So they're trying this same approach pretty much again, getting on top of Midrot this time, though.
But here comes the barrage from Quiddy. It'll take down Fried Rice. It'll help take down Sky Saber. And it's all Azure dying in the kill feed. No one from Kylin is even close to going down. Fallen does get demeched, though, so that could be a disadvantage coming into this next fight.
Yeah, definitely trying to poke their way back up to that mech, and should probably be able to get there before the fight really kicks off. If not, there's plenty of ults to kind of buy some time here for Kylin, the Primal Rage, as well as that Valkyrie for Chockacato. So now let's see what they can make of this.
We'll have to see. The McCree's gonna go down. Despacito! I hope you didn't want to use that ultimate, because Fallen says it was delicious, and Shinhan is just gonna get all these kills on the Doomfist. Kill after kill after kill, and the stagger on the Sky Saber, keeping them alive just to kill them a little bit later, as Kylin Academy are showing a completely different face from what we've seen before.
Yeah, I mean, they're finding a lot more success, but in part I think this is Azure just having a lot of troubles dealing with all of the different angles of attack that they're getting right now. They're pounding their head against the wall, and this is their chance to kind of brute force it if that's what they want to do. They've got these ults in tow. The barrage doesn't quite connect.
Nothing. The barrage gets nothing. Here comes the High Noon, the self-destruct, everything. Quiddy's gonna go down. Fallen's gonna go down. And now, here comes Sky Saber with the Shatter, gonna take down everyone else. The Mercy will fall. The Ana will fall. It's a team kill. There's just no one else left on the point. And Azure Eagles will soar above their 3-0 defeat in the winners finals. They're gonna take the intermediate division of GIT.
What a turnaround here for Azure to drop down into the lower bracket, to have been kind of beaten so thoroughly the first time around, and then I can't say exactly what changed for this team between the last time they met Kylin and now, because that game unfortunately was not on stream. So either way, like, whatever it was, hats off to you. Like that's adaptation at its finest. Being able to completely reverse your fortunes from your previous meeting just a week ago. It's not like we've seen a huge amount of time for them to improve. It's not like we've seen a massive balance patch come in and completely change the meta. But still, Azure Eagles, they are more than capable here today. They come away as your get good in a intermediate division champions, and like this was a really fun series to watch.
Mhm.
It upended our expectations, and
Oh yeah.
that is always kind of what we're looking for.
Now let's talk about an MVP, because honestly, it's hard for me to think of one. But personally, if I had to say, I would go with Despacito, personally.
This is not easy by any means. Azure was getting a really like solid performance like all across the board here today. I'm gonna have to go. I actually think ILY7 was really doing a tremendous amount of work on the Baptiste. Like the game plan, you could tell from Kylin, like it was always, we are going to jump on top of the supports and try and delete them as quickly as possible. But this BAP was really, really doing quite well at staying alive through all the pressure that Kylin was throwing at them. The immortality fields were on point for the most part throughout the series, and it's hard to nitpick with any of the possibilities here. Like every single player on the side of Azure came to play today. Like this was a pure team effort, and when they were as like dominant as they were throughout the series, it can be difficult, obviously, to kind of single any one player out. Everybody looked good when a team is playing that well.
Absolutely, congratulations to both these teams, but especially to Azure Eagles for taking it so handily. And let's look at some stats for Skysaber. Just look at that for Eichenwald. So much damage, the eliminations, good amount of final blows. It's just what you want from your Reinhardt. And Skysaber absolutely delivered. He is your choice for MVP.
Yeah, absolutely killer stuff as the tip of the spear here for the side of Azure Eagles as they claim a dominant 3-0 victory here in our first series of the day. This is our final day of Get Good Limited, and we still have one more match in store. But I just last chance to say sing all the praises here for Azure Eagles Academy, the progression of this team from the rookie division, last year to the intermediate division this time around. Hey, maybe in a few months they'll be taking the advanced division title. Who knows with the trajectory that this team is on? Really, really impressive stuff coming out from them as we now have to turn our attention towards that second series of the day. It's going to be Scuffed Ass Gamers up against Apollo Esports in that in that grand final for the expert division. This is the creme de la creme of Get Good, and I cannot wait to get into this one.
I can't either. We're going to take a little tiny break, but when we come back, we're going to see our two expert division finals face off, and just gonna watch the fireworks. Honestly, I'm excited to watch it. Stick around. Don't you go anywhere. Don't change the channel.